Halo Infinite Legendary Difficulty Walkthrough. So now we are on Nexus, which is going to take place throughout the next 3 videos, and I kind of struggled with whether or not I should speed this up and just make it one video, but you know what, let's show it all because we're not going to be doing open world stuff, it's going to be actual level things, and maybe someone needs help, who knows. But pretty much, there's nothing new here. It's going to be grunts and brutes and elites, and I think some hunters eventually, probably skimmers, and then we are going to be seeing an absolute boatload of sentinels from now on, and we're not going to see them early on, but they are going to show up, and they're really not going to leave for the rest of the game, so get used to those, and also get very used to using the sentinel beam. The sentinel beam is a very strong weapon, and it does a very good job at taking out shields and vaporizing enemies, and especially killing the sentinels. And on top of that, the sentinels drop sentinel beam ammo, so that's the other thing. Legendary ammo is a challenge sometimes, so having lots of ammo sources is very helpful. And we're just going to go back to the slow, sort of methodical, stay back, use our shield, camp hard, and try to attract the enemies in so we can defeat them while we work our way through the Nexus, which, like I said, is going to take place throughout the next 3 videos. This is a very long level, and as I said before, which is kind of late now if you're at this point, but as I said in the previous video, this is the point of no return. Once you walk in here, I don't think we can leave anymore, and we're not going to be able to fast travel until we finish the game. So this is kind of the final gauntlet, if you want to call it that. But what's somewhat annoying about that is just the sheer amount of time that it takes to get from this point to the end. Like, we're probably only 2/3 of the way through with the game now, and I think most people would like to go back outside and get some collectibles that they haven't found yet when they are nearing the end of the boss, or the end of the game, you know, the final boss area. And we're not going to fight the final bosses for a really long time. We have a long time to go before we get there. So I think it was a little weird that they made this sort of the point of no return. And there's always like that message, right? In a lot of open world games, or even single player games like that aren't open world, like Doom Eternal, they warn you when you can't go back anymore. Like, now it's the chance to go back, collect all your stuff before you finish the game. And I've never been able to decide if I like that warning or if I don't like it, because in one way, that warning that tells you, hey, the game's about to end, it's a little bit jarring, so it like takes you out of the immersion, I think. And it's a nice warning, at least you know, but it is sort of like, oh well, wow, I'm at the end already. That's kind of the feeling that you get. But on the other hand, if it's like what Halo Infinite hasn't done so far, which is warn us that the end is near, it's a little bit annoying sometimes when you may not want to just be sitting in these really long, almost identical, tedious hallways fighting the same 6 enemies. You know, you may not want to do this until you finish the game. You may want to do some of the hallway killing and then go get some Spartan cores, and then do some of the hallway killing and go get some Spartan cores. Which, speaking of Spartan cores, I have not fully upgraded my character. And there might be a few Spartan cores you can get in the campaign itself on the way, but for the most part, whatever upgrades you walked into here with, those are the upgrades that you're going to have until the end. So maybe 343 will change it. They seem like they are open enough to making adjustments to various bad areas of the game, and I think the campaign will be some of those. I think the campaign will get some updates, so I imagine like there might be some difficulty changes, maybe some balancing, who knows. Hopefully they don't make legendary easier, and eventually hopefully they'll add the ability to replay missions, because as it stands right now you can't, and that means that if you miss a collectible right now anyway, you can't go back and get it unless you restart the whole dang game. So hopefully they'll let us replay missions soon. And then I think maybe they might add a warning here, letting people know, hey, this is going to be the end of the game. If you want to get all your collectibles for the final rush, then, you know, get them now. And really the only thing would just be the Spartan cores. You would want to get all your Spartan cores and upgrade your character completely before you come into the Nexus, because it's going to help you out just everywhere, from the having fully upgraded shields, which don't do a whole lot on Legendary, to having the bigger drop wall here, and the fully upgraded drop wall electrifies your bullets, so it makes them even stronger. That's helpful. And just all the other upgrades, they are useful, and none of them really are super necessary. Like, you could definitely get through the game without them, and I don't really think, especially on Legendary, that the difficulty would be that much different. but it's still nice to have those things, you know. And we're going to be kind of suffering as time goes on because the campaign is going to get a little harder. And most of the time for me is really just trying to make sure I don't die, of course, dealing with ammo management, as well as bosses. We're going to fight a huge amount of bosses between now and the end of the game. And especially on Legendary, those things are bullet sponges and learning curves like I've never seen since Dark Souls. And I'm not calling them Dark Souls bosses, I'm just saying that's kind of that was kind of the feeling that I had in a way. It was just throw your head against the wall enough times until you figure out their pattern. And then every now and then we're going to get enemies like this. I think it's a brute back there, although those look like hunter shots. We're also going to get hunters thrown at us. We're also just going to get tough brute enemies thrown at us. We might get invisible elites. I mean, this point onward to the end of the game is just going to be suffering. It's a lot of fun, and it's going to take a heck of a lot less time if you're not playing on Legendary. But yeah, so that is kind of my synopsis of what there is ahead of us. And there's not really a whole lot for me to say in this video. I think there's a death I didn't cut out later, but that's not really a big deal. And it's just going to be, like I said, running down identical hallways and trying to snipe some of these enemies with the battle rifle before they can find us. So I guess my recommendation would be to walk in here with some kind of long-ranged weapon that you are comfortable using. I really like the battle rifle, and there's going to be ammo boxes everywhere, so just keep an eye on those. And the pulse rifle, I almost called it the plasma rifle. The pulse rifle is super good for taking out shields, and that's something I'm really going to be holding on to for a long time because the enemies also drop a lot of pulse rifle ammo. But eventually, like I said, we will be using pretty much exclusively the Sentinel beam once the Sentinels start showing up. And that's going to be all I'm going to talk about in this video. The rest of it should be pretty straightforward, and I'll see you in the next one.
Look at that. The hologram, it looks like the spire above us. We're heading in the right direction.